Okay, welcome back, guys, to our new part in this winter train series, where we will learn everything we need to know about Blender, at least to get started in Blender. Good. This is where we left off, basically. So, in this video, we will mostly concentrate on um, really the secondary cylinders, and then continuing with the lower part of the main cabin. Um, Also, this video will mostly concentrate on the bevel modifier and beveling in general, because we did use the bevel function, but there are a few tricks to that function even if you do it manually, but also you can use the bevel modifier to get pretty good results. And I explain exactly what that means. Also, in this video, we'll also cover the modeling with curves, especially Bezier curves. I mean, basically, if you know Bezier curves, you're gonna be okay with any of the other things. But yeah, this is what we're going to do. Firstly, though, there's one thing I did notice while editing the other videos, and that was that while we did a lead for the main cylinder, um, I took as a reference the Polar Express train, right? And there's something I did notice afterwards. That is, they don't have just one big lead, right? Like there are a few parts that actually form the lead, and I think we should do that because I think it looks really good. And besides that, it's gonna help us understand a little more on how to work with geometry. So what we should do is, first of all, let's see. This has like two bumps here, right? So what we will do is in the face select mode. Oh, also I did not get the screencast turned on. So let me see. Yeah, now you see it. Actually, no, without the background. Yeah, okay. Also, for anyone that, will want to do YouTube videos, or I don't know, just show something to a friend in Blender or something like that, um, to show the screen keys, you need an add-on called Screencast keys. And I think it was on Gumroad, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to try to find it and leave the link in the description of this video. But yeah, that's basically what you get to do this. Unfortunately, it does not come with Blender, but it's free. So yeah, there's nothing really about it. Um, yeah, so I think I just realized actually I did not show how to install an add-on. Um, so first, let's actually do that. And um, what you will want to do after you download the add-on, you go to Preferences, go to Add-ons, and instead of searching for the add-on, because again, some add-ons don't come with Blender, you have to get them separately. And I'm gonna actually show you a very good example, and that's the Polygon add-on. Um, I'm not sponsored by them, just for you to know, but it's one of my favorite add-ons. And in case you don't know, the Polygon site and add-on is owned by Blender Guru, aka Andrew Price, and yeah, it's just amazing, really. It has a lot of free textures, free 3D models, and all of them are super good. So what you want to do is go to polygon.com, click on Blender, download the add-on, and then in Blender, you go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and click on Install. And what you will want to do is go to not assets, but to add-ons. This is where I keep them saved. So here you will see all the add-ons you're downloading, right? So they're gonna come as zip files, and that's pretty okay. All you have to do is press on the add-on. For Polygon, for example, is the Polygon add-on. And then you will search for it. And there it is, Polygon. You just click, tick the box, and there's nothing more to it really. And then by pressing, by the way, to see the items and the add-ons on the right side, you press on N. So that's how you make that visible or invisible. It took me quite a long time to realize that, so I think hopefully that will help you. So there's the add-on. Also, as a fact, because this add-on was now made actually compatible with Blender, you will get all the updates when they're ready from this add-on inside Blender. You don't have to go to the site every single time and download it, which I'm just saying Blender can do as well. Okay, so you have this, and then you just use the add-on, and that's about it. Good. This being said, and skipping this little detour, what we will want to do again is select the faces here, for example, right? And we will want to actually, we'll need all of them. So we go into X-ray mode for that. Okay. And yeah, see, this is one of those problems I kept talking about when you have too much geometry, because you're gonna get a little lost in it. And I should have done this beforehand. Like I shouldn't have left this kind of thing till the end. But it is a good way to show you guys what happens. By the way, to make the selection faster, when you press Shift and left click to select this face, you can go to the face you basically want to cover and press Control left click, and it will choose the fastest way to get there. I know I explained it in other videos, but just in case you don't remember, or in case there are new people that did not see that video. By the way, you should see that video. They're really good. Yeah, that's how you do it. Now selecting this and that and this. I think that should be good enough. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So what we'll do is extrude just a little bit. We don't need to, we don't need to go too much. And we deselect this, and now just extrude again, and just a little bit. Again, you don't necessarily need to do all this. You could have just left it the way it was. It's just my personal opinion. I think it looked really good in the Polar Express reference. So I thought, hey, why not? We can borrow that idea a little bit. Okay. So as I talked in the last video, make sure to check not to overlap geometry. And look at this. This looks much, much better. All right, we have this ready. And now let's turn our focus to this cylinder that we utterly left alone. We did not do anything to it. And that's not really too good, is it? Good. What we can do to this... I'm trying to think about it. I mean, really, there's not much. Actually, this looks pretty interesting. Go into edit mode, press on the X-ray, and then let's go to vertex select mode, create a loop right here, and then let's scale this on anything but the Z axis. Okay, that looks comfortably okay. I don't know why comfortably, I just said it and I'm not gonna regret saying it. And now uh, getting the X-ray off. Getting the X-ray off, just in case you wonder why I would do that, it's because sometimes it's much easier to select faces that way, because if you're like this, it might select the face behind. So, you know, going out of it is just making it easier for me. And now I'll extrude on the Z-axis, like so, and then, yeah, basically, I'm gonna shade it smooth. And I think what we will need is, let's actually try two things, right? First, the bevel. By the way, when you do use the bevel modifier, what you should also do beforehand is apply the scale. And that's why. Because when you first use the bevel, it's going to basically apply the modifier, or actually not apply it, but you know, do the modifier with the original scaling. But as I did mention in previous videos, scale should always be 1, and if we look at it, it was not 1, which meant uh, the bevel modifier basically, like right here, it's 0.1 meter for each edge, all right, because this is what the bevel does. So let me actually pull a duplicate right here and show you guys. So we will take it out, and in edge select mode, we will just press Ctrl B, and it's basically beveling. What that means, it's creating another edge basically, and then by just moving your mouse out or in, you're going to create a chamfer in this case, right? But if you want like a rounded corner, this is what you usually will use bevel for, right? Or for, you know, tapered edges like this. But what you can do is just scroll your mouse wheel. Sorry about that, by the way. And there you go. It's just adding more edges, more geometry for you to basically round your corners. And what you can do is go to select mode, select sharp edges. What this will do is select every sharp edge from your body, right? So if you bevel these and then, you know, round them, what this does is more or less what the modifier does, right? But why, you know, there comes a question on why do you use the modifier? And of course, the main answer is, well, because it's faster and a little more convenient. But there's also one more thing. Having this here, let me apply the scale for a second and, you know, get the bevel amount a little less. What this does is non-destructive, because I can always just deselect the bevel modifier and it's out. You don't have it there. Also, when you edit the actual body, it's, you know, a simple geometry because it doesn't have that many things. But on the other hand, if you do the manual version, you actually have the geometry already, and if you don't like it, I mean, yeah, you can undo it, but let's say you forget to undo it, you go too much ahead, and when you remember, there's nothing you can do about it. You can indeed, and this is something again I showed you in the previous videos, which you should watch, by the way. You can select the loop with Alt left click, right? And in the edge select mode, no other mode can do this, choose the edge select, Control X, and you will be able to, you know, eliminate the edges and simplify your geometry. Um, but then you will have to go back to, you know, model it again. It's going to be kind of a headache, really. And, you know, why would you do all this when you can just apply a modifier and, you know, you get what you want. It's just good. It's, you know, pretty useful. Um, there are some good things about it, you know, doing it manually, and why you might want to do that is just if you have one edge and you just want to, you know, bevel it a little bit. Yeah, that's, you know, cool. Or if you want like um, different bevel levels to different edges from the same body, then yeah, you will have to do that manually. But other than that, really, there's no real reason. What I wanted to show you is that when you do bevel a body, right, you do this, a menu will appear. And what this menu will do for you, it's again, you can play with the segments, do more. It's what the scrolling the mouse wheel will do. Uh, it can be a grid fill or a cutoff. Also, you can mark the seams if you wanna. If you don't know what seams are, we'll get a little more into it later on, but it's basically used for UV unwrapping a body, for texturing and stuff like that. I will show you exactly what I'm talking about in later videos. Um, but it's just like really, really good. And also, you can choose if you want a sharp edge or a patch. I never used a patch, to be honest with you, but you can also use, you know, like an arc. And I mean, in this case, it kind of destroys everything. But like if you have a very rounded corner and you want to, you know, basically arc it, that's what you'll use. And yeah, you can also, you know, change this from here. And you can see what it basically does. But in this case, we don't want this. And actually, we don't want it at all. So there's that. Um, so yeah, this is the difference between using the manual bevel and the modifier. Now, a lot of you might notice, so let's increase the segments here, and you can change the angle as well, which, you know, it can change the body. Usually I leave it to 30 because that's the default, and I mean, I don't see a reason why you would change that. So why do you really use bevel? Is to round your corners, right? To make your body look a little more realistic, a little more just, you know, softer. Like, look at this. This has sharp edges because we didn't use a modifier, neither the subdivision, neither bevel. And it's utterly, like, you can tell it's a 3D object. In real life, you'll never see something like this, right? As we talked, it's no actual sharp edge completely. It's always going to have a very small uh, roundness to it, as we can see in these references. So really, what separates this from the subdivision, the subdivision surface modifier, because again, some of you might have realized it's kind of doing the same thing because that's what we use this for, and like to smooth it out to make it look better. So why would we ever use the bevel modifier, right? Because it doesn't really make sense. I mean, it does seem to look better. Actually, let's compare it again. Again, duplicate with Shift D. You don't have to do this, by the way. It's just to show you guys. Um, so let's put a subdivision surface and, you know, uh, put some geometry in here. Good. So as you can see, it's more or less the same result. However, it's true that the subdivision modifier looks better. And why really is that, first of all? And why would you ever use the bevel modifier in the detriment of the subdivision modifier when the subdivision seems to look better? Well, there's really just one reason and one reason only, and that is the geometry. So basically what I'm talking about is if you apply the modifiers, right? I'm not gonna apply it for this one, but actually let me get it here and apply it. Um, this is what you'll get. And let me pull the statistic out. I always forget where that is. Um, let me just see. Here, the statistics is going to be under the show overlays. Okay, so showing the statistics, we can see that we firstly had what? 50 faces and 124 triangles. Also, just for you to know, uh, they do measure it in triangles because this is what the bodies get turned into at the end. Like when you render an image, even though you have quads, the engine actually takes your quads and triangulates them. It's what mostly video games do. I mean, especially video games do. And yeah, that's why you will see triangles, even though you don't have triangles. They will basically just calculate the, half of your geometry. So we started with 124 triangles, right? Then the bevel made it to 764 triangles, which, is quite a lot. But again, you can go and get some of them out, and the geometry is not going to be affected too much. So it can work, and we can get some of the geometry out. And the reason you want to do that is really optimization, right? Because um, in all games, especially because you have them in real time, but also in movies, for the renders to be faster and for the games to be more optimized, you need optimized 3D models as much as possible anyway. And yeah, sometimes you have to sacrifice, the looks to get some of that optimization in there. And this subdivided body, look at it. It's insane, right? Like it's 5,000 triangles from, what was it, 124. And why is that really? Well, again, the subdivision is going to get your geometry and make it so it basically rounds it up, like it's adding geometry in between your already existing geometry. And getting it to level 2, it's already getting it this far. Like it almost like what it's like 10 times, 20 times more. I'm not really sure how much, but it's quite a lot of geometry in there, and I mean, that's quite insane. So that's actually like 40 times more. How about that? So yeah, that's why you don't really want to use subdivision surface all the time. Now, again, it does look good, and I do use it all the time, and I still think it's the most used modifier in Blender. But as a, optimizing way of thinking about it, you can always use the bevel modifier. And usually when I make game assets, I go for that. I go for bevels. They're just better optimized. So now you can think about, but we don't apply the modifiers, right? So why would we care? Because we don't actually put the geometry in there. And that's true in the viewport, but in the render. And also, if you export the body, like if I, for example, export this body right here, right, without applying the modifier into, let's say, game engine like Unreal or Unity, well, what they will do is automatically apply the modifier when it gets there. So, I know there was a lot of explanation, but I think it's a really good thing to understand the differences between the bevel modifier and the subdivision modifier. and also when you will want to use which, right? So that being said, let's just keep on going. So we have beveled this one, and we're gonna stick to the bevel modifier for this. For this. This is what I'm trying to say. Apparently, I'm not able to. Okay, let's delete this face. And the reason? Same as before, we're never gonna really see it, so why wouldn't we? Go into X-ray, select the vertices, and I think what we should do is having this here, we will turn on the proportional editing again. Um, so basically now, this is mostly the same thing we did to the last cylinder, more or less. Um, so let's get it like this. Let's see how it looks. Okay, not too bad. Again, I didn't do this I left this still more oval. Um, and I don't know, this is a little bit like this as well, at least on the lower part. But it's not bad. I think it looks pretty okay. Taking another look at the reference, right? Because mostly I wanted it to look like this, and from what I see, we should do this. Select these faces, and then extrude, and then scale, right? Um, this is not like in the reference necessarily, but again, you don't have to do it exactly like there. Like you can play around with your objects. This is mostly the reason that these things can become so nice, right? Like that's how you actually make a 3D model, your 3D model, by putting your imprint there, even though, you know, you don't necessarily do some, like, I mean, you don't have to sculpt the details in. Right, so um, doing this kind of thing. Also, when I did talk in other videos about, you know, these simple details. Now, you know, you can kind of ask yourself, why would you want to have, um, you know, simple details instead of very complex ones? And a good reason is, well, you know, the let's turn this to sharp. So, as you saw, by the way, I'll come back to my idea in just a second, but if you leave this on arc, the inner part of the bevel, it will create you another edge, basically. So make sure not to have this on when you use the bevel. Right, so as I was saying, you would like to keep to, you know, basic geometry, um, and to kind of stick to that. Um, Again, to give it style, and besides your own style, right? To um, be able to just a second, I'm trying to so don't forget to bring all the vertices to the same level as Z0, and that will do it. And then GG, get it a little bit up, and that's good enough. We'll do the same for all these. I pressed G instead of S there, and it didn't work, so just in case you're wondering, if not, that's fine. Okay, and now we have this. So yeah, you want to use simple geometry for two big reasons. First, it's going to be optimization. You want to stick to a little simpler geometry to be able to optimize your work. And also, usually, you know, a simpler geometry which is low poly geometry. It's good for stylized works, you know? I'm trying to think of an example. Um, and actually, all I can think is Grant Abbott's works. Um, because if you would watch any of his videos and any of his work, really, you'll see that he has a really nice way of creating his models, and they usually look really, really nice. And they're pretty low poly, so yeah, that's pretty convenient, right? Because you make something look nice, and at the same time, you make it feel, um, super professional, just because you give in that vibe. And here, I didn't want to do this first. You should insert faces. It's working the other way around, but you know, it's not gonna look that great. And this doesn't look bad. This is actually pretty nice. But again, here we don't need this fade because it's a chimney basically, or something alike. So we don't really actually. I'm going to keep that now that I said to think about it, because the reference seems to be like a closed cylinder as well, and you don't want two chimneys. But what I will do is, of course, to turn to our friend, which is proportional editing. So I'll just do this and scale on everything but Z. Lower the circle of influence, and yeah, there it kind of is. And up this a little and play around with the geometry until I think it looks decent. And this doesn't look bad. This is okay as far as I'm concerned. Okay, guys, so that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you stuck till the end, thank you very much. I hope it was also really educational. Um, I know it was a lot of explanation in this video, but I think it's very important to understand the difference between certain modifiers, in this case Bevel and SubdivisionSurface, since honestly they are kind of two of the most used modifiers in Blender for anyone really. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna waste your time anymore because it's like already a 30-minute video, which I think is kind of a lot. Um, so in the next video, we will learn how to model with curves, and the next video afterwards, and I promise this is the last time I'm saying this, we will finish modeling the train. Either it will be a very long video, uh, which most probably it will be. But we will model the train since we kind of have the basics of modelings right now. I mean, after the next video, especially because the curves are actually pretty fun to work with and really useful, and you'll see exactly why. Also, we will learn about the spin tool. You'll see exactly what it is, and we will have an introduction to the array modifier. So that being said, again, thank you very much for watching, and please, if you like this video or find it useful, give a like, comment maybe, and subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys, and have a great time. Bye.